having the cart, there's definitely some planning that goes into that because it's a shared device. So whatever they have on that device, stays on that device. So there's some upkeep as far as what, whenever I have them in my classroom, I take the kids and say, okay, let's delete all of the pictures and stuff off because, of course the kids get them and that's the first thing that they want to do is let's take pictures with the camera or
let's change the background.
Let's do stuff like that. So, I mean, there's some upkeep there, and it's been nice, though, too, that it's become more user-friendly with the iOS 6, that they can easily email their stuff off, or we have the Gaggle account, so they can send it to their Gaggle account. I use Edmodo in my classroom, so they can easily send anything to me, and we do iMovie in my room as well on the iPads, so that they learn how to do that. So they put stuff together for my morning announcements, but they can easily send it to me, and then I put it on our announcement show. So,
one of the nice things about integrating all this technology is it's given us the opportunity to do more cross-curricular projects with each of our grade levels and each of our teams. And so for me as the librarian, I've been able to get more teachers to be willing to do things. So in 6th grade, they start with like a small research project, but we utilize PhotoStory or we utilize iMovie. And then they come to 7th grade and we use Noodle Tools in our school. If you're not familiar with it, it's a subscription service. It costs us, it's $500 for our district. But it allows the students to do their bibliographic citations, they do online note-taking, they do outlining, paraphrasing, everything online, and then they can take that and they can either export it to Microsoft Word, they can put it into Google Documents, and the teachers are able to see all of the students' progress. We can log in at any time and see how long they've been on, what their notes look like. So it's been a big advantage for us to be able to utilize that, and so we do 2 big projects in 7th grade, and then they build upon it even more and they do 2 big projects in 8th grade. So each of our grade levels are getting more and more cross-curricular projects that they're putting in, and they're building on all the technology that the kids are learning in technology class and that each of the teachers are using now. So that's been a big help for us. We have technology for assessment mediation. We have Study Island. So we have a math and reading lab. So the students in all 3 grades can be put into the math and reading lab for Study Island. And they go in, we have 2 AmeriCorps workers, and they run the labs along with classroom teachers. There's at least 1 classroom teacher assigned to the lab every period. And so then the students go in for remediation in there and work on the Study Island with them. Some of our teachers now have gotten so used to using technology and they're so excited. We have 2 8th grade teachers who are doing flipped classrooms this year, and that has been really interesting to watch. Not only their excitement with it, but to watch how it impacts the students and the training that they're getting by using the flipped classroom.
Yes, could you give a more explanation of how they're flipping their classroom, meaning they're doing most of the learning outside of school and then inside they're actually utilizing it?
Right. So,
go
ahead.
our 8th grade math teacher is doing more so than, and we have the 8th grade, an 8th grade English teacher. Val Hayes is our 8th grade math teacher, and she puts a lot of videos up, and again, she's using her iPad, and she's using Show Me, which is an app, like a whiteboard app. So she will do a 5 to 7 minute video on her iPad, post it to her webpage. The kids, for homework, have to watch that video and kind of get that instruction so that when they come to class, they are actually working on the problems and doing stuff together so that she can help them with, the problems as they work. Mrs. Vanderpool, who does English, doesn't have a lot up, but there are certain things that she wants them to work on in the writing process. She has several same things. She's used the Show Me app, put videos together on the writing process and things that they're doing in their writing, and has the kids watch from home, and then they actually do the writing and work together in class. Yes?
Do you know if they reteach and model when they come in from watching the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, they do?
Yes.
But it's not as in-depth because...
And then they let them just kind of go on their own, work on their problems, and walk around helping.
It gives the students more of a collaborative environment because they've already got the lesson, and so now when they're in the classroom and they're able to work more in a group and see, okay, well, what did you take from the video? What did you take? You know, which those of you who went to the team building, you know, session yesterday when they were talking about collaboration, you know, that's kind of the idea. The kids now get to have more of that collaboration because it's some of the excess teaching is taken away. So
I don't know how
it's
many of you have had a kid come home. I have my daughter come home and say, you know, I don't know what I'm doing on this math. And then we have to sit down and get out the book and try to figure out, because they don't remember when they come home, okay, I thought I had it in class today, but I don't have it now. But so all of those videos are posted, so if there's anything that they don't remember or don't know how to do, they can always go back to. I like that feature of it, that you can always go back and rewatch. We have a link here too.
Do you have many kids who do not have access to technology at home, though?
Very few, surprisingly. We had a little bit of kickback at the beginning of the year when she started this, but she leaves it enough time so those kids that don't have the technology at home, I know they can come in the morning or afternoon homeroom, or we have 8th period ELO now, which is an extended learning opportunity, so they can always watch their videos at school before they.
And we have academic intervention on Thursdays, so the students can stay for 2 hours after school. And so students who don't have technology at home, that's an opportunity for them, that they can stay, and there's always teachers there who can work with them. But they hold it in the library, and so I've had phones and computers that they can get on and, you know, watch the video themselves. And we run an activity bus as well, so they have transportation home.
Thanks. If you notice, she has all of her chapters up, but I do like this. Apparently there was one student who was having trouble. So this isn't me, but this was a student. Nicole, click here, because she kept getting a pop-up. So she couldn't understand the idea of not getting over the pop-up. So Mrs. Hayes put a video up specifically for her so she could watch the video without the pop-up. So, but yeah, she has everything here. Again, you have to be comfortable in your own skin as well and in your teaching, because you're putting yourself out there for everybody to see. So that's.
She's also starting after-school classes for teachers who want to learn more about.
Right, they're starting to, they started yesterday. So other teachers, if they like the idea of flipping their classrooms, they're doing a study group. So everybody was starting yesterday, they were gonna bring lessons, and they're gonna work through March and April, and you know, everybody's gonna try a lesson flipped, and then talk about what went well, what didn't go well. So they're kind of doing a study group with that.
Now, does she have somebody actually videoing her while she's teaching a lesson, or does she outside?
She uses her iPad.
And she just videotapes herself outside of.
This is a,
Her prep
see
period.
if it comes up. Our internet's not that. The internet's not that great, but there it comes. You can't hear it. We have no speakers, so I don't know if you can hear. What's that? But basically, it's kind of a whiteboard app, so the whole video, she talks into her iPad, and then she does the writing and the drawing on, or the graphing, whatever she happens to
It's
become.
not actually her. So like.
Not her, yeah, not her face.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's
Just her voice
Just
and
her
her
voice.
instruction. So I guess move on from there.
Although Chevy does allow you to pull images into it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
which that's more the English teacher. She's doing more images in hers than what Val is, because
For obvious reasons.
My last thing was what went wrong and how we fixed it, because there's always issues that you come up with when we're talking, anytime you try to implement something new into the school. The main thing that I even found personally, I always did the training with the polyvision boards, I did the Elmo, I did the different projects, I love to put technology in my classroom. but I didn't have an iPad, and I wasn't one of the first teachers to get an iPad, so I didn't implement it. I guess you kind of get threatened by it, because I had students that knew more about it than I did, and I didn't want to implement it, and Ms. Stover, you need to do this first. And so I guess the cart before the horse is how we said it. We had the cards, we had the access to put it into our classroom, but I didn't have the iPad to try it at home first, so I wasn't real comfortable with that. So we finally got it. We got our own iPads, and then we're feeling more comfortable. We can implement it into our classroom. Also, Nicole, they took Nicole from us, and she's back in the classroom, and so it was nice when we had her, because it was almost like team teaching, and we knew that she was there to answer any questions that would come up from the students, and so that was hard to get used to also. But we do have the coach, tech team, and librarian, so the librarian's been able to help us out with that. Also, technology overload. We had so much all of a sudden, and it was overloaded, but we were able to implement the in-service days, and the teachers were able to teach others, and so that helped with us also. And then the initiating technology, getting teachers to feel comfortable with it and wanting to use it. That's the main thing. And we talked about just giving them the opportunities to use it, giving them the iPads to use it, the programs, we were able to teach them how to do it, in-service days, with the extra hour that we have for our teacher detention days. And so we had the different trainings in the library. We always get together and try all those new things so we can implement it into our classroom. That's the biggest thing. More aware of what we can try. And a good example was the Skyward program. If you have Skyward, if you've ever seen Skyward, teachers can go in and do lessons, can actually put lessons up for students to go in and grade them and make them assignments in class. And I don't think that as many teachers would actually do that if they didn't have the background of the technology that was been made available to us through the last 5-6 years that we've been given these grants and given these different opportunities. That's about it.
One of the other things that we really tried to get across to our teachers is not using technology for technology's sake. You know,
Right.
Because like Jess said, they would come in and, you know, we use the technology all the time, and so we're trying to teach them, and they get so overwhelmed and, okay, well, how do I use this, or what should I use? And so a lot of it sometimes is going and sitting with them and saying, okay, what technology do you think would benefit your classroom? Let's find a way to integrate
Let's
it.
look at your instructional goals first. What do you want the students to learn?
Yeah.
And will this tool help them learn that? And,
You
don't
know,
just use it just to use it.
Yeah, like I had a couple teachers who would say to me, I'm sitting in all this training and I don't understand, I like it, but I don't know. And I say, okay, let's pick a piece of it and say, okay, if this is your unit plan for this 9 weeks, what can you build into it? What do you want to build into it? What do you think your kids are going to get out of it? And doing it slowly. And then they take off with it. Like our 6th grade reading teachers, they've built all their vocabulary tests into Skyward.
Spelling
The
test.
response.
Yeah, you know, so once they,
Or Skyward.
Skyward.
It's our student management system grade book.
yeah,
SK.
but they have,
Okay.
SKY.
they have the ability that they can go in and then they take the test online and it automatically sends the grades right to them. So they wouldn't have done those things 4 or 5 years ago. You know, as they're getting more and more comfortable with the technology, they're getting more initiative themselves to try things. And that's where we're seeing the greatest benefit, because the more the teachers try, the greater benefit to the students.
And some teachers are more comfortable doing something, one program, and they're not. For example, Nicole loves Movie Maker, I like Photo Story. So the students are the ability to, in my class, to do Photo Story, but maybe they can do Movie Maker in another class. So you get used to what you're comfortable with, and it's nice because we all have different styles, we all have different things that we like to put in our classroom, so the students get a variety of that, and then they can go with what they're comfortable with.